know, Slugworth, I think the Father Devil has gone underground.
What do you mean, Wormwood?
I haven't seen him lately.
Maybe he's gone invisible. You know, like the enemy spirit.
Yeah, careful. Don't say the word. You mean the invisible enemy.
Yes. The one they say came as a mighty rushing wind when the disciples were in that upper room during one of the enemy's people's feast. I believe it was the feast of Shavuot. Is that how you say it? Shavuot. Maybe it's Shavuot. Anyway, they call it Pentecost now. Imagine that. You don't see tree branches rustling in the wind outside, yet inside, it's like a tornado hit.
That sounds spooky. Imagine you're drinking and dining and then whoosh, your goblet gets blown out of your hand. Cheesecake splatter all over the wall and you're knocked out of your chair. I'd run for cover.
This is even spookier. Tongues of fire started falling out of nowhere. The enemy's followers started speaking in languages they've never learned.
Get over it, Slugworth. We're the ones who are supposed to spook them. What does that babbling amount to anyway? Wouldn't faze me at all.
Except, from that time on, the enemy's story got told, and the people gathered in Jerusalem for the feast. You know, they came from everywhere, and so they had their own languages. You know, they understood the story in their own language. Oh dear. And get a load of this. He's the one reminding the enemy's devotees every day that they can become more and more like the enemy's son.
Come on now, Slugworth. Don't worry about that. That's why we've been sent to New Hope this building in Elsip. Get them to believe that there's no such thing as an invisible version of the enemy's son. We'll defeat them at their game. They'll see who the real boss is here.
But the invisible enemy is so unpredictable. He changes his game plan all the time. Like he anticipates our every move. I think he listens in on us. Father always says, life's a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. For example, these new hopers, especially those guys that attend at Flapjacks. I wasn't minding them at all, because what do a bunch of guys at a restaurant do anyway? Eat, right? Suddenly, they open their the book. Then you know what happens? They bow their heads and Stop it. They gave it all to their boss, the enemy, their concerns, their worries. And then they're all better. They're smiling. They're laughing. Would you have thought that could happen? At a restaurant.
That guy, you know, the retired police officer, he talks to the enemy all the time, as if he were his very own father. He's a real softy these days.
That's precisely what I'm afraid of. I think we're going to lose him and those other guys to the enemy for good. We're no match for the invisible version.
We'll see about that. Never give up. We'll ask Father Devil what techniques we can learn so that we can duplicate what the invisible enemy does. You know, like while they have their heads bowed, let's come in like a mighty rushing wind. And then let's confuse them so that they break out like babbling fools. We'll see who gets spooked this time. I can see it now. The manager is going to ask them to tone it down. You know, because they're getting those weird looks from other customers. Better yet, they might even get kicked out of there. So where does that leave them? They're going to exit in shame, with their tails between their legs.